Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Clayton, and I just got back from seeing Life, directed by Daniel Espinosa, and starring Ryan Reynolds, Jake Gyllenhaal, Rebecca Ferguson, and, and let's just say, even though I thought this film took heavy inspiration from Ridley Scott's Alien, it's still an interesting space horror film in its own right, with some pretty inventive moments, a very inventive creature, and an ending that'll shock you to the core. But I won't spoil anything, so let's just get to the story. The story is about a six-person space crew who are on an expedition to Mars to find extraterrestrial life. When they find an alien on Mars, or at least a single-celled organism, they start performing experiments on the organism in order to see how it'll do, and to see if they can bring the organism to Earth for this landmark discovery. Unfortunately, as you might expect, things go awry. And as soon as the alien escapes captivity, the six people on board have to survive while the alien picks them off one by one. So yeah, pretty basic stuff, as you've probably seen from the trailer. But as a space horror film, it does have some rather inventive moments that I won't spoil here. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for the characters. The characters aren't bad, it's just most of them tend to be underdeveloped, to the point where you don't really care that much about them when they die. One of whom happens to be Jake Gyllenhaal's character. Gyllenhaal's character is mainly just a loner who spends a lot of time in space and doesn't really get along with people. That's basically his entire character. Ryan Reynolds is the comic relief character, Rebecca Ferguson is the main female protagonist who's determined to get the job done, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, and some of the actors, while they are entertaining in these roles, they aren't really given that much material to work with. Well, at least most of them anyways. Though I did like Hiroyuki Sanada as Shokendo, the Japanese crew member on the ship, as he actually does have a backstory, and he does have at least a sympathetic personality, to the point where he's the one character that I did actually care about throughout the entire journey, simply because they gave time to develop his character. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said about everyone else. Thankfully, the film does deliver when it comes to an action-packed horror movie. It does have a lot of tension put in, but when the tension fades, it has a lot of gore when it comes to its kills. Yeah, this is a very bloody film, especially involving any scenes involving the alien. So if you're against gore, you should definitely skip this movie. And for people who are concerned that the alien would have a generic design that seems like H.R. Geiger is the only person who can make original aliens nowadays, the alien's design here is actually pretty interesting. Without spoiling it, the design is sort of like an octopus mixed with a lizard mixed with butterfly wings. That's how I saw it. It's a very interesting look for the alien, and honestly, it made it both terrifying and kind of fascinating. So hopefully more films can take an example from this movie and make more original designs for extraterrestrials. I believe Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets could learn from that. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The film does start off a little bit slow, especially as we're getting accustomed to know the crew members' basic personalities, and as we wait for the alien to make its first appearance. But once it does, the film has a great sense of tension, to the point where sometimes you're expecting a jump scare, but it doesn't happen. Sometimes the characters are in a dark area and you're waiting for something to happen and nothing does, and you're still shaking in your boots waiting for the alien to pop out. And other times, even when there's direct overt scares, they still get you because they feel like they're earned. It isn't like there's just a fake jump scare every 10 minutes. Other than in one scenario where the fake jump scare is used pretty effectively, the scares in this movie are actually handled pretty well, to the point where I was legitimately creeped out a couple of times. And the last thing I'll say about this movie is the ending. Again, without spoiling anything, the ending is very, very dark, but it's also very fitting for the movie. even if I felt like there was a bit of tonal whiplash, considering with the incredibly dark downer ending of the movie, mixed with the credits song that's Spirit in the Sky, which you might remember from the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack. Yeah, nothing like an upbeat song to mix with one of the darkest endings I've seen in a sci-fi horror movie in recent memory. But that's just a minor thing. So if you're planning on seeing a movie this weekend, I'd definitely choose Life. It's well acted, it's well directed, and the actors do a great job with their material. That's plenty enough for me. I'd give Life an 8 out of 10. See you next time.